Welcome back to another day in Wecock Farm, the housing estate that's got a bad reputation, but over time it's changed completely. So this video as I'm compiling for Wecock News is just an example of how the area has changed, how it has improved compared to a lot of reports online, and the way it's often portrayed by the police and other people in the area, who often think of it as a dumping ground for people who are the dregs of humanity. But in reality, there's a lot of great people who live here now, who are changing the area, improving it, and making it a better place for everyone to live. There are of course still people here who don't care about anybody else, who are happy to sell drugs, who are happy to deal drugs, and who are happy to cause trouble whenever their girlfriend upsets them. But it has changed. Long gone are the days when every night a car would be driven down the Eagle Avenue to the wreck ground and would be trashed and burnt out for another insurance claim. Today I'm just going to explain the history of Wecock Common, which, unlike many commons, is really a bit of woodlands now, and has often been confused and been called Wecock Woods, but there's no such place exists. It is Wecock Common, and unlike many commons, it is no longer a bit of common land. It was effectively stolen from the people by a local farmer who decided to build a fence around the area back in the 18th century, or it could have been the 19th century. Yeah, I think it was the 19th century, going by 1800 something, about 51 or something. So we enclosed the area, and using the new enclosure acts that had just been decided by Parliament, once a bit of land has been enclosed for over 10 years, it's yours. You can do whatever you like with it, as long as nobody else has laid a claim to it within that time. So using those laws, he owned the land and he sold it to Portsmouth Council. So this area is now owned by Portsmouth Council, who often leave it derelict, often leave it to the whims of the locals to ride motorbikes in here, to ride their bikes. But it's changed. Slowly, new signage have gone up, paths have been cleared and improved. I was shocked today when I came down here to find all the undergrowth that had overgrown in the last couple of months has been fully cut back, and now the paths are a joy to walk down again. I was also shocked to find, as I walked through the woods, the sound of hammering. Now I normally come down here to have a look at some woodpeckers who are hammering on the trees, because lots of dead trees are left standing here just for that purpose. There's about 6 nesting woodpeckers in the area who come here regularly just to feed off the trees and to nest. But today the hammering was caused by a man knocking tins together, knocking drinking cans. He was smashing them down into smaller sizes and collected them up so he could sell them on. Now walking through the woods, I found about another 20 cans just laying around, took them back to him, and he was happy to have them. And at the same time somebody else came along and offered him some more cans from a lady who was just throwing them out in the rubbish. So it's nice to give back sometimes to the people around. I'm going to take you for a short walk through the woods so you can see exactly what it's like. Although it should be called a common, of course, but there's not much open area in here. Okay, looking for a quick look around, you can see some of the areas have raised mounds in them. They've been dug out by the kids and formed into a little BMX type biking course. Now this area down here I never walked through before. I never realised they were active down here. As you can see where the vegetation has been cut back, and shockingly somebody's actually been down here laying wood chip on the paths to make it an even nicer place to come down. Now about 2 months ago, huge mounds of wood chip from where the trees have been cut down the area were being dumped at the entrance, and I had thought they were going to use them for the wood chip paths, but I expected it to take years for anything to happen. Normally it all rots down before anything good begins. But as you can see from the surface below my feet, we've got a great wood chip path that's just been put down. And has been built up in areas to quite a substantial level. Wow, this is like a trampoline. We're actually behind the fencing and the houses that are just outside Wecock Farm. Oh, and have a joy. Some of the fantastic art you often find in locations like this. I'm going to head back this way to the entrance, the main way in. Lots of people used to get into the common. It's fairly strange how this has been laid. It starts nowhere and basically ends nowhere. Way. So a little bit of roughage down here, and that's where this part of the path ends. If I turn back and go down the other bend, lovely smell of fresh cut wood as well. Now we approach what many people think of as the main path through the common. It is actually an old path, this one. It runs right through basically the centre of the common. We could say from east to west to east. And they even have put up barriers to stop motorbikes and the like venturing through the common. So here's the big mounds that were here, huge mounds at one point, but they've been cut down and now spread all the way through the common. So here's one of the main entrances. There's the Chinese restaurant over there in the Acorn Centre and the flats. And there's the statement that if you drive your mechanical vehicle onto this land, you're going to be fined £1,000, but you've got to telephone them to collect the fine. We have the complimentary dog poo. Always a joy to see it left. It would be nice if they started following the simple rules of just kicking it into the bushes. I don't agree with people having to collect their poo, because it just goes into a bag, and then where does it go? Sits inside the bag, rotting away and going disgusting. Kick it into the bushes, kick it into the trees, pick it up and flick it into a bush. It's off the path, out the way, and it's even giving some nutrition back to the plants. The purpose for what it was intended for. These plants aren't being eaten by anybody, so it's the best use for what would be called manure by many people. Normally you put manure into a pile and let it rot down for a few years before you actually use it. But for a bit of dog poo, it doesn't take long for the flies and the rest of the critters to break it down. As you can see, all the brush has been cut back, so the paths are lovely to walk down at the moment. Give it another 2 weeks and most of this growth will be back covering the path again. Primarily used by dog walkers. Well, at one point John Welford, who was running the local project at Billy's Lake, he set up a bushcrafting group which was visited by a few people, not many. I think the maximum group size was about 5, but they did host a barbecue event here where they had people killing poultry, skinning them, and a few other events set up, like making pegs. Well, this is the central area, which many people think of as the only place that can be used for anything in the area. This is where normally John would set up his bushcraft camp. All the ropes are gone now. No sign has been left he was here. There's so many paths that run through the common that you can easily get lost and end up coming out somewhere unexpected in the estate, which can be fun. As we can see, like many places in Wecock, little respect given by some people, just dumping their rubbish, not caring where it goes. A lovely cut path that runs back to Eagle Avenue just by formal walk. I'm going to turn left instead, basically parallel to Eagle Avenue at the moment. You may have just heard a bus going past. Morning. So standing here knowing where I am, basically looking north into where Grebe Close would be, but it's nearly impossible to see the houses. Scan all the way around, looks like we could be in the middle of a woodlands anywhere in Hampshire. This was part of the Forests of Dean at one stage, but as most of it was felled to make timber for the Royal Navy, this is one of the last remaining bits down this way. You may want to check out another video I made of the play area, the park at Wecock Woods. That's another part of the Forest of Beer. And then Queen Elizabeth Country Park also falls under the Forest of Beer. That's where the whole lot would join up at one stage. So where the big trees are, there's a few open areas. As you can see, pass, wander off. Bags, rubbish, flip-flop, just strewn around. And there's a mixture of huge trees here, mainly oaks, but there's a huge range of species in here: yew, ash, hazel. And we're back at the path. Made a mistake and took a wrong turn. I was going to go further around where the kids use another area to ride their bikes on, so I'll have to head back up that way, going past the dog poo. This has been known as a rubbish dumping ground at times, just like they dumped the mounds of tree cuttings there. Lorries will pull up there and just offload their loads into the woods, but that's cut back dramatically over the last few years. And here we get to the adventure area. Just be able to make out, let's probably do Brights, the new Golden Leaf, the Chinese restaurant, the bus just going past on Eagle Avenue, and here we've got some big trees again filling up, and we have all the toys left by the children who come out down here to race. That one's had better days. This one's still looking in very good shape. Nice big slope, falls all the way down here. Oh, I missed 2 cans I could have given to that man. I brought the chair down as well, but again has seen better days. Now missing 2 wheels. Oh, 3 wheels missing. As you can see, a little path up that way. They bring the bikes down here, or their cars, go over some of the jumps. Well, this is just a very short stretch. The only benefit to it is it has is the path I should have come up. GS plus SK. As you can see, a nice drop down from Eagle Avenue, which is why the bikers love coming here. So if you're looking for a place for a quick stroll around, maybe see some wildlife, there's plenty of squirrels in here. You've got the woodpeckers, of course. They're not hammers as much as they used to, and plenty of birds taking residence up in the woods. There were some foxes in here at one stage. Found the body of one that died, but often they disappear into the local area. Come here. Hello. Hello. No colour on you, eh? You having fun in the woods, are you? Yeah? Where's your friend gone to? Hmm?